presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
We're changing things up and Audible in the studio. Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, met with the media just a little while ago. That's coming up in just a little while. I can't read what Alex is. Number 6 in the polls, number 1 in our hearts. Wow, that's nice. That's nice, Alex. Alex Simpson's here. We've got a full spread in the studio. A lot of interviews after practice. We'll get those for you. Also, women's basketball meeting with the media this morning ahead of that 11 a.m. tip-off. Remember, 11 a.m. tip-off. Also on the GoDucks live stream, Terry Johns will have the call across the Oregon Sports Network. And then we are timing Terry with a stopwatch. How fast can Terry Johns get from women's basketball courtside calling it at Matthew Knight Arena to the broadcast booth at Autzen Stadium to host the football pregame show at 2 o'clock? I'm taking bets. It's not an NCAA sport. I'm not violating any compliance issues here. I'm taking bets. How long from Terry putting the headset down to putting the new headset on? We're going to find out on Saturday. Number 6 in the college football playoff rankings, though, for the Ducks. And before we talk about that, it is National Signing Day for a number of Oregon sports. A lot of signees coming in on social media. Women's basketball, the class is done. You can read about it on GoDucks.com. We'll go through it throughout the show today, but not everybody's going to be in by the time we're on the air here live at 1 o'clock. So GoDucks.com will have you covered. Also, tomorrow we'll have a recap of a number of different sports because it is one of many national signing days for a lot of different sports. Football team, though, number 6 in the latest poll. Does that matter right now? Yeah, it gives you an idea of where things are. Georgia's number 1, Ohio State's number 2, Michigan's number 3, TCU is number 4, Tennessee is number 5, and then Oregon is number 6, followed by LSU, USC, Alabama, and Clemson. UCLA checking in at number 12, Utah at number 13, and then Washington just snuck in there at number 25 to make it a college football playoff top 25 matchup with that 4 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. We're going to hear from Dan Lanning coming up in a little bit, but because he is a working man, we're moving him up a little bit. Rob Moseley, the leadoff hitter, rather than the number 2 hitter. So that means you've got good speed and you're not as good of a bunter as Dan Lanning is?
You got the second part right, I'm sure.
Okay. Bunter? I don't know.
No, I'm a horrible bunter, and I have no speed at all.
Oh, well. So you're like a 9 hitter.
Right.
Why'd we do this then?
I don't know, man. Because you're nice. Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, you didn't bring up the analogy. I did think it was funny that everybody was like touched by Alex's sentiment. I mean, that was about it wasn't about any of us. That was about the football team.
Well, yeah.
I was impressed with your energy, though, at the top of the show as well. And I
thanks.
appreciate you being flexible and bringing me in.
Sure. So let's talk because he's going over. You're recording a podcast today?
Yes.
Yeah. So Mighty Oregon Podcast coming your way wherever you get your podcasts. If you're not already subscribed and you're listening to the Oregon Sports Network podcast for this show, you should also be subscribed to the Mighty Oregon Podcast that comes out every other Monday.
Yeah, we just did the one with Aaron Wise. I don't know if people have checked that out yet, but I thought that was really good. He was great.
Yeah, he was fun.
So I hope everybody checked that one out. Yeah. More to come.
Now, Inside Baseball, I actually looked at the metrics for the Aaron Wise podcast today, and it did well.
Oh, great.
So that's great. People like hearing from Aaron Wise. He's on the wall back there. I don't know if you can see with the shining lights.
Totally.
Above Dylan Brooks. Yeah, we've got one of the posters of Aaron Wise the year they won the national championship. That was fun. What's up, Rob? What should people know?
Oh, man, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Rankings coming out. And, yeah, I mean, I totally think you want to be in the conversation right now for so many reasons. I think just from one thing, just from a fan's perspective, it's fun and it's exciting. It's fun to know the team you're cheering for is playing with a whole lot at stake. Obviously, the conference race, looms a little larger on the horizon, a little closer. And the only way to, keep that on the horizon is to take care of business against Washington on Saturday. So that's obviously a huge focus. And Dan Lanning, we've seen the last few days, he's making sure that he shows to the fan base that he appreciates what this game means to them, and therefore is making sure his players understand that too, if they're not familiar, because obviously, this is a game that means so much to a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Whether you're an old school fan who remembers when Washington was the big bully, and or just a younger fan that only remembers a couple of results that didn't go Oregon's way, but the sting of those being pretty profound. No matter what, I think if you're an Oregon fan, you got reason to really be energized about trying to get a win this week.
All right, I have a two-pronged question for you. Okay. We talked about this in the Quack Minute a little bit, and I said I think exactly what I said is that there are multiple strategies that coaches employ to talk about rivalry week. Some coaches, you always hear it's just another game.
Right.
Other coaches, you hear them really lean into it, like, no, this is a rivalry. Like, this is a big deal. And then there's usually a spectrum somewhere in the middle where coaches usually end up falling. So two-pronged question. Yeah. One, you as an Oregon alum,
yes,
you as now someone who openly roots for the Ducks like I do,
yes,
do you like that approach of like, no, we got to acknowledge this? Because I personally do, Rob. I like a coach that says, no, we know how big of a deal this is. That's part one of the question.
Yeah, the honest answer is I think you have to be authentic to yourself. And, I think, when Chip Kelly was here, he authentically didn't really care.
That's so true.
He, when he said every game was a Super Bowl, I mean, he meant it. And
win the day, right?
Yeah, and so I'd much rather that than somebody trying to manufacture some sort of rabid reaction.
I love this answer.
That is not real and true to them. I think Dan Lanning wears his heart on his sleeve.
He does.
And makes no apologies for it and shouldn't. And his natural inclination is the opposite. I think his natural inclination is to really lean into this.
Limited though, right? Like it.
100%. I mean, he talked to the team today about, hey, let's not let it go overboard. I mean,
exactly.
I think all of us have seen situations across the nation. I mean, I think you look at Michigan State, where things just get way out of control, and obviously you don't want situations like that. But I think the rivalries are part of what makes college football so fun.
Agreed.
And it's as I get older and I relate even more to kind of the long-standing fans that do remember when Washington was allegedly casting the vote to keep Oregon out of a bowl game or being that bully that the Ducks could just never get through, that almost felt like they were toying with Oregon, and just when you thought you'd have a chance to win a game, they'd return a punt for a touchdown or something else goofy like that. And then Kenny Wheaton kind of turns the tables, and things have been a lot different in the series since then. But I mean, there's so many facets to this, the relationships between these two programs, and reasons for there to be a healthy animosity. And I love the fact that engages people this week.
I do too, and I love that Coach Lanning pointed out that there are people within this Oregon program that have been on both sides of it, whether it be a coach or a player, right? So there's certain now the second prong here. Now put on your old Register Guard hat if you could. It gives you something a lot more fun to write about, doesn't it? If players are like, we remember that rivalry game and how much it meant in 2018, for example. Like it gives you a lot more to write about, even from a neutral perspective, doesn't it?
No doubt. Yeah, I mean it's easy. That's catnip if you're just a journalist looking to fill the space on the page.
I love that.
It's like
So my point being that you, even in the neutral chair of the Register Guard, to compared to your point and perspective now, I mean, I guess my stance is that I love the fact that both of these programs are acknowledging it, and to an extent, you still want to just go play a game of football, but there is a rivalry, and it does mean a lot. And I'll finish the thought by saying Kellen DeBoer, one of the quotes that came out, at least that stuck out to me from his press conference this week, is he said, look, every speaking engagement I've done, it's always emphasized how important it is to beat Oregon.
Right.
And so that's a guy who's new to the rivalry on that side of things as well, and I love that. I think it's the right way to do it.
No, I think it's, generally speaking, both schools look at their in-state rival and say, yeah, it's it's almost like a sibling rivalry that when you're at home and it's just the two of you want to beat the heck out of each other, but in the grand scheme of things, you don't mind seeing them have success as long as it's not against you. The Oregon and Washington's different. Not only do you want to beat them, you want to see them lose all the other games they play too. Yeah. So, it's just a different character. Both of them you want to beat. It's just a different character to kind of how you look at them the rest of the year.
Tony Castricone, voice of the Huskies, going to be on the show tomorrow, and I'm going to talk with him about this subject as well because I think it's really interesting to think about. Rob Moseley joining us. All right, Rob, I know you got to run, so I want to go a little more rapid fire with you here. Keys to success on the field. I mean, what's on your mind heading into this matchup between the two teams? I think it's amazing. You look at first downs per game, number 1 and number 2 nationally, Oregon and Washington. Pretty efficient offenses that are going to be squaring off on Saturday. Yeah,
I think if there's two things that we've heard, Dan Lanning keep coming back to, a lot of his players keep coming back to, obviously the way how efficient Washington is throwing the ball, and their numbers are, I think they lead the country, right, in passing yards per game. So that obviously jumps out, and the challenge that this quarterback and this receiving group is going to face for an Oregon secondary that has generally been pretty good, but really, as Colorado's only touchdown was a big explosive play, and so that's been a vulnerability there, and trying to get off the field on third down as well. That touchdown happened to be a third down as well. So, how's that matchup going to play out? And then you take a Jamal Hill off the field for the first half due to his targeting penalty, only kind of exacerbates the challenge for the Ducks. And then the other thing is, the defensive front for the Huskies. I think we've heard Oregon's coaches and players speak really highly of that group, and so that feels like obviously a strength on strength. I mean, this Oregon offensive line, what they're doing is fantastic. Should note, if you look at pass attempts per sack, obviously Oregon is
wide margin,
but Washington's in the top 5. Given how for how frequently they throw the ball, and given the mobility of their quarterback, this is a tough team to record a sack against, just as Oregon is. Not quite to the extent Oregon is, but nobody is. Ducks lead the country, but that Washington pass rush, how effective are they? Is Oregon going to be able to get after the quarterback? And then when Washington drops back and throws the ball, how is that matchup going to go? There's all the X's and O facets are going to be fascinating as well, along with just the kind of the venom and the passion on both sides and from the fan bases as well.
It's going to be a good environment, I think.
Yep. Yeah, having the Washington band here. I mean, we've heard Oregon preparing for that, playing their fight song during practices to kind of prepare for the fact that Washington's band is going to be here. So, you talk about kind of the pageantry of a college football rivalry and a matchup. I mean, the atmosphere Saturday should be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Bundle up.
Wear
good socks.
I will. Here's the secret. As someone who's on the sideline a lot, when you get to this time of year, hand warmers in the toes of your shoes.
Yeah. Veteran move.
Oh, it's the only way.
Veteran move.
It's really the only way. They make, like, hunters use these a lot, like battery-powered thermal socks.
Yeah. Have you gone that way?
Next level.
Oh, okay. So you have gone that way.
I tried it. Feet got too hot.
Too hot?
Yeah.
First world problems.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't live in, like, Minnesota.
Right.
If we were in, like, Minnesota and it's like 10 degrees,
right.
Different conversation.
Now, we went out to dinner in Boulder, or I guess we were in Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, last I actually saw you.
Yeah, little chilly.
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. The puffy coat was necessary, not just a fashion item, as it seems to be now.
But
everyone's got their own black puffy coat.
But a fashion item for one Rob Moseley.
Right.
I mean,
No, you got to try to stand out how you can.
That's right. Since we've gotten to the point where we're talking about puffy coats,
yep,
we're going to let Rob go to the arena and
appreciate you.
Do his job.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Rob Moseley's the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. Any problems that you ever have on social media, he's the guy. Yep. Play calling, rivalry thoughts, at Duck Football on Twitter. When we come back, we're going to hear from Dan Lanning on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales. Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Ducks were outside today on the practice field as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Let's hear from Dan Lanning, the Oregon football head coach, right off the practice field. His first thoughts, took a few questions. We've got that for you. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Dan Lanning, close to home. He had a lot of things to say after practice.
All right, good day today. Third down, red area day. As usual, plenty of things to clean up. I think our guys' approach today was, in my mind, one of the best Wednesday practices we've had this year. So you hope that carries over to the game. Mind's in the right spot. Guys are working really hard. Excited to get to it.
Why specifically do you say it was one of the best Wednesday practices?
Player-led teams are the best teams, and our guys were demanding the most of each other today. I thought I saw that show up a lot.
What type of impact do you think playing the Husky fight slungs had at the start of practices?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just want it to be on the forefront of our guys' mind. We'll see.
Tired of hearing it yet?
I don't know. It was just an idea. Yeah, I'm tired of that song. Definitely tired of that song.
In terms of on a third down area day, when obviously you guys are looking to make corrections on third down, but they're also one of the better third down offenses.
Yeah, really good.
What is it that makes them a challenge from that perspective?
Yeah, I think they play into advantageous looks. They check the sideline a lot and make sure they get in the right call in those situations. And obviously they have good skill. Quarterback knows how to operate. They do a good job protecting them. So, they're also a team that's pretty aggressive on fourth down. So a lot of those third downs turn into aggressive fourth down opportunities. For them. So they've been really good there. We want to make sure that we can help defend them.
When it comes to making improvements there, Dan, how much in evaluating yourselves in areas to correct is execution and even scheme versus call what it is? You are going to end up playing 4 of the top, maybe even 5 of the top 10 third down offenses. How much of this is just the opponents sometimes are really good too?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of an excuse on our part if we're not executing the way we need to execute. So we got to execute better. We can do a better job. They're certainly really good, but when you play really good teams, you're going to play good third down teams, and we got to be better there for us to be what we can be.
You've talked about how players, when they play their former teams, it means a little something. What does this week mean, do you think, to junior?
There's several guys in our organization that have some familiarity, whether it's Coach Adams, whether it's Taki, Coach Lockett. There's a bunch of guys that have been in that game. I think the biggest piece is everyone in our organization realizes how important this game is, not just to us, right, but also to our fan base, everybody that's really affiliated with the university, and we want to go out there and perform at a high level.
Given the opponent, does that help Taki a bit insofar as, not that he needed extra motivation or anything, but do injuries feel a little bit better when there's that element of things?
That's a good question for him. I don't know. I think he's anxious to be able to get out there and impact us. He was able to do some things today, which is good to see.
Where have you seen Penix improve in these last couple of years, or this year compared to his last couple of years?
Obviously he wasn't here, before. So the thing that's consistent with him is I think he's just a really solid player. Playing a guy that's a lefty is a little bit different than playing a right-handed quarterback, but he's an accurate passer. He's obviously has a lot of confidence in the guys he's throwing to right now. You see that show up consistently on film and knows how to operate what they're doing. So, he's a tough one to defend, strong arm. There's a lot of throws that he can make.
They've been one of the better teams in the conference in getting after the quarterback. Why have they been successful in that area?
Yeah, those guys get off on the ball, and they're really talented at end. I think they do a good job scheming it up front too, with mixing in some of the games that they play. But they really play the run on the way to the quarterback at times, right? Those guys get off and they're really aggressive in their pass rush.
With Jamal out for the first half, how have you seen some of those other guys in the secondary step up, knowing that they'll need to cover for his absence early on?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been something we've dealt with a little bit on defense this year already, having to play a little bit different based on who's in and out and available because of injuries. So really no different. Our guys, every one of our guys practice and prep like they're going to be the guy on the field.
Given his importance to you, just how has DJ looked getting back on the field and being back at practice this week?
We'll go watch the film today, but it looked like he played with great effort and energy today.
I guess challenge would be not the right word, of juggling recruiting right now with this, kind of the final period of that, getting everybody signed with big games like this.
Yeah, that's part of the business, right? Every single day, it's you got to make sure you find time to chop out and spend some time doing that. Also one of the best things we can do in recruiting right now is be successful on the football field.
Just how do you go about interacting with those guys and learning what they're going to be working on with your players?
Ultimately, you get excited that guys want to put in work in the offseason, right? So I'm never going to fault a player that wants to go get better in the offseason. All those guys that I've ever worked with, they've always had a respect and admiration for each other. We understand that they have a role, and it's a benefit for our team if they can be getting better.
We've seen quite a bit of Keith Brown in the last 2 weeks, obviously with Jeff being out attributed to it. But what have you seen from him to kind of earn some of those reps?
Yeah, he performs in practice, and then it carries over, to his games. I think Keith's best performances in games have been weeks that he's had really, really good practices, and he continues to grow as a player. He's a good young player in our program that I'm excited about his future.
As Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, meeting with the media after practice today. Last time that we'll hear from him talking with the general media, but tonight, the Oregon Football Coaches Show. He and Terrence Ferguson will be our guests here in the Country Financial Studio. 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network and on all of the Oregon football, that's a tongue twister, on all of the Oregon football social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, also on the Goducks YouTube as well. Jerry and Jorgie sitting down with Dan Lanning. I'll sit down with Terrence Ferguson getting ready for this rivalry matchup with the Huskies. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. It's a little bit of a quick turnaround for Oregon volleyball. 6 o'clock on Thursday, they will play in Boulder. Men's basketball plays UC Irvine. Yes, UC Irvine. I almost said Riverside. UC Irvine at 8 o'clock on Friday. And then, of course, that 4 o'clock kickoff for Oregon football on Saturday. But the appetizer to that is at Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon women's basketball with an 11 a.m. start time on Saturday. I didn't ask Rob for his wager on how long it'll take Terry to get from Matthew Knight Arena to Autzen Stadium. And we're not talking like car park. That doesn't help the broadcasters. We're talking like headset to headset. Could he do it in 10 minutes? Pulling out of Matthew Knight Arena, across the Ferry Street Bridge, into his parking spot near Autzen, up to the booth. How long would it take? I don't know. We'll see what Alex Stimson thinks. Scott Phillips will weigh in. We'll do all of that when we come back. But first, Dan Lanning, thanks to him for taking the time, and we'll talk with him a little bit more tonight. Next, a segment years in the making. Matt Ulmer in the studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. That's coming up in just a moment. Continuing our conversation, though, on how long it's going to take Terry to go from women's basketball headset off to football headset on to host a pregame show. Remember, 11 o'clock tip-off. We're not going to do a traditional longer postgame show. Coach Graves is going to come over, talk with Terry right away, and then we're going to wrap things up. So Terry's going to probably get off the air, I'm going to venture to say, by like 12:50. Okay? So it's like 12:50. Is there a lot of traffic on Villard? So that's the other thing. Usually Terry parks in the garage underneath Matthew Knight Arena. We already discussed this. We decided that we're going to have him park on Villard Street so that he can just pop out right onto Franklin, make his way over to Autzen. I want everybody to also know that we discussed having him maybe just walk across the river. Would that be faster to walk across the river? Now, the golf cart you can't do. That's illegal. But a good try. Yeah, now Gabe, our intern, is good suggestion. You could take a bike. So now, Terry said, no, I'm going to drive the car. He thinks that's the way to go. So I think, so here's my proposal. Do we have an intern who we could task with this? Do we have an intern that we could say, okay, when Terry takes his headset off, that intern starts a stopwatch, and that intern then does the walk across the river? We see how long it takes to go across the river through the woods to Autzen Stadium, up to the booth. Who would win that race? And if they have a camera with them, we could strap a camera. I don't know if we have anybody. It's a football Saturday where a women's basketball game is also going on. We don't have anybody available to do this.
Though, obviously, we got to give the people what they want.
Okay, so Alex Simpson, ladies and gentlemen. Alex, do you have anybody on your team that is going to go from Matthew Knight Arena to Autzen, and they're going to do it by foot?
I'm racking my brain for it right now. Frankly, to be honest with you, I would just relieve myself of all responsibilities and do it myself if need be.
Are you going to have to go to Autzen?
No, absolutely not.
Oh,
I don't need to do that.
Because you're going to
But
direct.
I will do that for the sake of hashtag content. So, I mean, do we have any early bets here? Who do you think would win this theoretical race here? The over-the-bridge intern or me?
I think Terry would win.
I think Terry would too.
Are you gonna like sprint? Because I'm thinking it has to be like a leisurely
I think
pace.
there's got to be some sort of walking integrity here involved.
That's what I think.
Like a leisurely but concerted walk. With the group. Yeah, you're not plowing your way through, But with assertion.
Yeah, I mean, you're on a mission making the walk, but you're not
But you're not
running.
throwing bows, doing all that fun stuff.
Because there's certain choke points on that walk, right? You hit the bridge
Choke points.
and
hate choke points.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Hate that.
So,
You think it's Terry?
I think Terry would win. But really, the question is, I don't know that we need to do a race.
Well, that was the other
It would be fun
question.
to do a race.
We were talking about the over/under. I think we all kind of settled on a 30 to 35 minute range for Terry.
I think he can do it in way under 30, guys.
I said 32.
So when I do the pregame show with Steve Tannen locally, and their studios are located over near Valley River Center. And my route from there is to come down Country Club Road, go right into the Autzen area, and it doesn't take me that long. Depending on the lights. Now, there's a lot of traffic. Well, the lights are off at that point. Not over at the arena. Right. But they're not on the Ferry Street Bridge either. So Terry's just going to go over to the Ferry Street Bridge and come down into the Autzen neighborhood. I don't know, guys. I think
I think I'll take the over.
25 minutes? You'll take the over.
I think so. Not by a lot.
But
But
from headset to headset.
Headset, and I think that's important. Headset off to headset on. Off at Matthew Knight, on at Autzen. I mean, there's a lot of variables that I just can't account for. 32.
I got to think about this. In the meantime, we got to get to Matt Ulmer because the Oregon volleyball head coach, we had a great conversation with him. If you didn't know about the socks and sandals saga, well, you're going to know about it now. Here's our conversation with Matt Ulmer. This is a segment years in the making. Oregon volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer is here in the studio. So the Ducks are playing on a Thursday this week, which means that we are recording our segment today. And this is truly years in the making. How are you today, sir?
Why do you say that?
Well, I say that because we did the sock giveaway. The Matt Ulmer socks. We did the giveaway. Now, the original story of the socks and sandals is one of legend. It went back years to when Coach Ulmer came into the studio wearing the best sandals and the best socks that you've ever seen. Straight from the practice court he came. And walked in and did a nice toe wiggle, and we got a great shot of it on camera. If you haven't seen it, and if you were at the volleyball game against Washington, you saw said wiggling toes with socks and sandals. It dates back maybe to the era of high school Matt Ulmer, before he was known as Coach Ulmer. It's very possible that this is just of Matthew Ulmer lore, if you will. And the moment that he realized that we actually followed through on our promise to design socks with his head on them and have the team and the staff wearing them, and we even gave them away to fans, the realization on his face, you just could not fake. And they really are a sight to behold. Thus concludes our story of socks and sandals.
I just questioned my life.
So back on September 28th.
What have I done in my 38 years?
So back on September 28th of this year, we were kind of joking about the socks and sandals, and Scott said, we should do like a sock night, like a socks and sandals night. Well, that spiraled out of control, as these things do. And I walked down the hall to Rachel Doyle, who's in charge of marketing and promotions for Oregon Athletics, and I said, hey, I think we should do this. And she was like, okay, we're going to do it. And not only did we have overwhelming submissions, by the way, thank you fans, over 100 submissions to try to win the giveaway of these wonderful socks with Coach Ulmer's face that does look strikingly like Dr. Strange, by the way. We're really coming full circle for you here. The giveaway went great, and it was months in the making. Shout out to Rachel for making it happen. Now, I was so upset that the day that it worked out best happened to be when football was traveling to Boulder. So I was not there to watch in person. So I'm so glad that the creative team was able to capture that. Those of you who are watching, can we see that again? Can we just see the realization moment from Coach Ulmer that, like, wow, this actually happened? Can you tell us what's going through your mind here pre-match right now?
Well, I'm thinking about strategy. I'm thinking about rotations. I'm thinking about what we need to do to be successful. Big match for us. And then, like I said, I just questioned my existence, right? Really in a moment. And then I thought maybe you were gonna like pop out from somewhere. I was nervous.
The best part is here at the end of the video. I don't know.
Everybody was creeping, like they're all staring at me so weird.
But
that's Nelly.
That's Nelly?
Of course it's Nelly.
Okay, so Nelly just puts the sock right up in front of him. Now, she's wearing slides.
I told her that was a mistake.
Yes, that was a mistake.
I said I feel like they should have gone all in.
I was so happy that I got my own pair. They are phenomenal. Just great socks. Great socks. Really comfortable, by the way. It's not just
I wouldn't know. I didn't get a pair
statement.
of this whole thing. And
now,
I'm the one that actually wears them.
Now.
And I don't even get a pair.
I understand that you didn't get a pair.
Whatever.
Well, Coach, these are for you.
You know, I will say thank you for at least not using like a bad picture.
Oh, sure.
You know, I thought for sure if this was ever going to happen, it would be like
Rachel picked a
just a total
Rachel picked
meltdown,
the picture.
like you would.
You put them on.
Well, of course I'm going to put them on. What am I?
Bravo, sir.
This is an amateur hour.
Bravo.
You know?
This is unbelievable.
Your storytelling, that was just so dramatic.
Content.
Yeah.
Did you like the poetry of, like, olden days? I tried to really channel. I thought about writing a poem and having it rhyme, but I'm not that talented.
On, let me. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, these actually are.
They're pretty comfortable, aren't they?
I get it now.
I mean.
They are. And you know what? They're thin enough that really the thong sandal just slides
right in there.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I'm just look.
Oh, that's good.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
So, can you answer me a serious question now?
What have we done with our lives?
Hey, it came up on the show, and I just want you to know, as someone, Coach Ulmer, who I'm talking about here, as someone who questions my professionalism.
Yeah.
I'd like
no longer need to question it.
I'd like to just confirm
doesn't exist.
That it does not exist 1,000%, but also I follow through.
You know what? Through that whole time, all I was thinking, I was amazed for the first time in your life you followed through. That's all I could think of. That whole storytelling, I was like, I just can't believe you actually did it.
I hope that you enjoyed it.
You know what? Had we lost, you wouldn't be here today.
That's right. I would have been
fired.
We won,
so it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I think everybody enjoyed it, and I've actually gotten more responses about the socks than anything else I've ever done in my life. So it's a problem, really. It's been very eye-opening for me.
Well, how many people, though, are going to be coming out to Oregon Volleyball now to support the team because of
that's
your
true. That's true. We really changed the game, I think.
It really did. Okay, so
if I wear these around town just like this, what do you think?
I have.
If I go get lunch?
Look, I mean, at this rate, we know.
And they're already looking at me funny anyway, huh?
We know that the sock and sandal persona has really taken off.
That's true.
And so I think it would be really fitting. Okay, so we famously have a scoreboard in the studio of Ulmer versus Dillard.
Yeah.
Currently, it's tied at 5. I'd like to make a motion that for 2 reasons. One, Coach Ulmer played this like a great sport. Not every coach would do that. Thanks for letting us not take ourselves too seriously.
That's right.
And also thanks for getting a win in the process. So I'd like to make a motion. For the first time ever, I think this deserves 2 points.
Let's go.
For Coach Ulmer on the board.
All right, now we're talking.
Does the quorum in the studio agree? Alex Stimson's here today. Alex is in.
Has it.
Ryan and Scott agreed. Brandon agreed. Sophie agreed. Okay, Coach Ulmer, a 2-point lead. I think
now
you
you're
earned
talking.
it.
Now you're talking.
I have to tell you, so this is a true story. I actually texted Chit, Erica Dillard, and I said, hey, so I know this is happening this week. I was going to wear them last Wednesday. And she was like, no.
Yeah, you can't.
He doesn't know. And I was like, wait, he doesn't know this is happening? Like, what if it goes terribly
I'm pretty
wrong?
tunnel vision when it comes to our season.
Okay, so
I'm actually not thinking about. I wonder if they're ever going to put socks with my face on it at the game. Like that's not really where my focus is.
So she, though, to her credit, she was like, "No, don't do it. You gotta wait." I was genuinely concerned.
Yeah, it's nice to know who you can trust. I think that's good. Yes.
I was genuinely concerned that you didn't know and that you were gonna walk in today and just deck me. What if you had lost?
Like I said, no, you just wouldn't be here.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
And shout out to everybody who made it possible.
Thank you. Yes, it was something. I appreciate that.
We definitely have a new annual giveaway.
Very fun.
And meanwhile, you guys won, and you won big.
They are talking about mass producing, though.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can't – everyone who's asking, you can't buy them at the Duck Store yet.
Yeah. And there are people asking, which that is scary. That's scary. Yeah. But they are comfy.
They are comfy.
They are comfy. Yeah.
And they look good.
Okay.
Well, that's part one. Matt Ulmer, shout out to him for letting us have some fun with it. And a huge win over Washington. They started out Washington week the right way, getting a win over the Huskies and a win over Washington State. We're going to talk with the Oregon Volleyball head coach about those matches when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, many of you know that on Duck Insider, sometimes we take left turns, particularly when a few people are in the studio, most notably Jerry, and then probably Matt Ulmer, then Alex, Coach Graves. We like to have fun on the show, and I hope everybody's okay with that. There is a reason that we set the studio up as sort of like a late night set. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed that. Like, that's how we built it, with like the desk and then like the comfy chair. And Matt Ulmer really just embodies that persona. So I really thank him for letting us have a little bit of fun. And I know that it's Washington week and, you know, everything that's going on that is serious, right? Like, this game means a lot. And so we did talk about volleyball, I swear, with Matt Ulmer. They got a huge win over Washington, got a huge win over Washington State, really started out the weekend right, and heading into this week, they're on the road. The reason that we pre-recorded with Coach Ulmer, they're on the road, flying right now as we speak on the show to Boulder. Part 2 of our chat with the Oregon Volleyball head coach. They're doing well right now. Always fun to have these conversations after a nice home stand, couple victories.
You like me better because we won.
That's right.
I know how this relationship works.
But you played well, didn't you?
What are we talking about? Yeah, so
we are 9 minutes in. Here we go. Yeah.
And that's the segment. So thank you, everybody, Duck Insider. Yeah, we did. I thought we played maybe a most complete match against Washington. I thought we played really great against Stanford. I thought it was that similar type of vibe from us. And, that was awesome. to be able to play that way. And Washington State, I thought they played really well, and that was a very tough match. And I was really impressed by our group, to be able to win that one. So I mean, you're the stat guy. I don't know how often we beat both of them. I feel like it's not very often. So, to be able to beat both of those two teams that are both really good, really well coached, I think that's a good sign for our group.
There are so many individuals that I want to ask you about, but I want to start actually with the crowd, because I thought that the pit crew really was phenomenal energy. It was fun to see, particularly against Washington State, since I could see that in person. That was fun, man.
Yeah, I think all year, and again, we're 9-0 at home, and I mean, that's
keep it up.
Yeah, let's keep doing that. But I think just the atmosphere is awesome, and it's really exciting to see our team feed off of that. Again, in years past, I wouldn't say that would be helpful to us, but this year, like, this group really loves it, and I think we've played a lot of really good volleyball at home, and the crowd has been into it. Season ticket, like, just the questions I'm getting from fans, like, I feel like our volleyball knowledge in Eugene is growing, and this team is the reason why, is because I think they have fans excited.
You bring up a great point. So those that aren't familiar with the Chalk Talk that you do. Mm-hmm. And I think it's awesome that you do that, first of all. And so you mentioned, like, the questions you're getting. Mm-hmm. How rewarding is that as a coach, as a leader, all the things that you are, a role model? How rewarding is that to be able to have those conversations?
I love it. I love it. I think our sport's a really great sport.
Oh, it's so fun.
And again, I think the way that our team plays, it's really exceptional. And fun to watch. And a lot of people don't grow up playing volleyball. They don't know the game as well, especially males, because it's not that prevalent in a lot of areas. So it's been fun to try to teach the game to people. I mean, they just really want to know. They want to know how to cheer the team on better. They want to know what to look for. They want to know what's good, what's bad, or what I'm even talking about, or things like that. And so it's fun for me. And actually, a lot of times, like, it's good for me to reflect on why we do certain things and just be able to explain it. So I really do think it's a genuine relationship where they just care about the student athletes, and they just want to cheer them on as much as they can.
That's pretty cool. Matt Ulmer joining us. Some Pac-12 honors rolling in. Mimi Collier again, Pac-12 honor, tied her career high in kills this past weekend, just continuing to do some great things for you.
Oh, Mimi, yeah, she's really good. Yeah. I mean, she had 25 kills against Wazoo, and I think that's the best block she sees all year. I mean, they're huge on that side of the court, and I thought she was really creative, and a lot of big points for us, again, in really tough situations. She's hitting out of the back row right now as well as she's hitting in the front row, and she's just kind of all over, and you can see Hannah's relationship with her growing, and you can see Mimi's confidence growing. I feel like every day. So it's been fun it's been a joy to watch.
How confident is the entire team right now?
I think I think the team believes in themselves. I think they believe in each other. I think we still can do that better, especially defensively. I'd like to see us trust each other more. I still feel like sometimes we try to do too much on our own, and that's not when we're going to be at our best defensively. But for the most part, I think they think they're good, and they should. They are good. They're a good volleyball team. And again, right now we're doing everything, every stat line that you're going to see, like it's at a high level. So the longer you want to play, throughout the year, then all those things just need to keep getting better, and we need to keep progressing. But I think they're doing what they need to do, and I think they believe in it.
Georgia Murphy honored by the Pac-12 as well. You talked about defense wanting to take a step, but still Pac-12 Player of the Week defensively for Georgia Murphy.
Yeah, and again, I think we're at that point, that you're just trying to be like the best.
Right.
So, it's like, everything we're doing is good, and we just want to be the best at it. And Georgia is, in my opinion, one of the best. I mean, she's fantastic. I think she gets overlooked way too much, because I think she just kind of makes it look too easy. She needs to struggle more. I think she needs to fly around more or something to get people's eyes. But I think she's so steady, so mature in that position, and I think teams don't normally hit at her. So I think our block needs to do a better job of funneling more balls to her, which I thought that we started to. And now she had some opportunities to dig the ball, but her passing, again, we're passing two-person a lot of times, and she's back there just taking bullets, the whole way, and she's doing such a great job with that. So, and she's a great leader. So I'm happy that she gets honored.
We're talking on a Tuesday, as I mentioned, because you guys are traveling on a Wednesday, heading out to play Colorado. That is the longer road trip. You and I have talked in the past about how it's nice to have those spaced out just because of the traveling. So how does the short week change things? How does the travel schedule adjust things for your team?
Well, I think we're at the time of the year where it's more about us just feeling good, So, I mean, practices are, again, they're pretty small, as far as duration goes. Trying to just get a few things done, that maybe we need to focus on, and then kind of ramp up the day before we play, and then go out there and be fresh. And right now, when we test like our verticals and stuff, they're higher than they've ever been. So I think we're doing a good job with that. So I think the team feels pretty good. And again, like, you just need to trust each other. I trust that the team knows what they're doing, that we don't need to reinvent the wheel right now. We just need to continue to do what we're doing and be feeling good. And I think they're doing that. This trip is difficult. It's just the multiple flights, and two really good teams on the road that both play really well at home. So I feel like this trip and the Washington's trip is always a really difficult one. So I think we're going to have to play our best, and I'm confident that we will.
Thursday, 6 o'clock against Colorado, Pac-12 Insider, and then Sunday at noon on the Utah live stream for Oregon Volleyball this upcoming weekend. You're the man. Always appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I played off. The Sox, it was very funny. It was very funny.
Good.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it was heartfelt.
I felt that.
Good.
Yeah.
You could feel the heart on the socks?
That's what I could feel.
I thought about, instead of having O's on the ones that the staff wore, to have hearts.
Oh. Okay. These are great. It's really weird.
It's the weird, fact. So I should also, a little inside story, that the ones that were given away to everybody are those, and then the staff wore some of the ones that had the O in your head, and so that just tells you how.
Oh.
There were
I didn't know there was a different one.
There were two different versions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
Shout out to your staff for making that happen.
Yeah.
You didn't know that.
Gosh, dang it. Great. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for letting us have some fun.
Yeah.
And here's some more wins.
This means I have to get you back, though.
That's right.
Let's come up with something. Okay. Nope.
Well,
that's good.
I think this concludes our weekly segment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you all.
Before I let you go, though, keys to success. What's it going to take on the road?
We 1 point at a time. Just go play our game, and again, keep trusting the process and believe that you're really good.
And have comfortable socks.
Always. Thanks, buddy.
Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach.
Just such a pleasure.
I am happy to report that we follow through. I am genuinely afraid of what his getting me back is going to be, because he's not just going to, make socks with my headshot on them. It's going to be something so much more devious. I am genuinely afraid. And I really hope that he doesn't watch this segment so he doesn't know how genuinely afraid I am. He is now in front of the Dillard clan on the scoreboard at 7-5. What would he do? I also would like to make a motion that Scott can't help him. You will not help. Okay. All right. So Scott says he won't help. I'd also like to make a motion Alex Simpson can't help. Alex is...
Motion denied. Sorry, Joey.
Wow. Wow.
Every time he comes in, he makes a comment about my hair. I'm very superficial. He's very kind. So there you go.
Very superficial and he's kind. Joey is blown away.
We're going to get a break.
Yeah, I think we should.
Back after this. I am beside myself on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Chris Jakimick, I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Thomas with a nice comment today. Too bad you don't have any fun on the show. Congratulations to Coach Ulmer on his season so far. Yeah, no kidding. The Ducks have been really good. 6 o'clock tomorrow in Boulder on Pac-12 Insider. So, you know, we do have a lot of fun on the show, obviously, and thanks to Matt Ulmer for doing it. And he and I discussed this yesterday. I hope that the socks now, because it's become this kind of fun thing that he wears socks and sandals and the staff gives him a hard time, the team gives him a hard time. I have a lot of fun with it. I kind of hope that it actually now is going to be like a pit crew giveaway. I would love for the socks to be, you know, like give it away to the pit crew at one game. I think that'd be awesome. I think it'd be really awesome. Tom asking a good question also here, fellas, in the studio. What happens if basketball goes to overtime? Does Terry still make it? Tom.
Why do you bring that up?
Whoa, Tom. Tom, come on, Tom.
I don't even want to think about that, okay? Because we're already pushing it. Like, Terry's going to have about an hour to get from women's basketball to football. Real quick, women's golf just coming in as part of signing day. Derek Radley, big splash. The #1 ranked player in the class is a Duck. Kiara Romero, San Jose, California native, the #1 ranked golfer in the country, in the world, in the class is a Duck. Will Terry make it? We're going to find out.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old. But I am a camping influencer. You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay,